Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Thursday training, live training here inside the Female Leaders Collective. Welcome to our new members. We've had a few new members come through over the last few days. Welcome. Every Thursday we come on live here and we do a live 20-minute training or so. I'm Emma. I am the founder of Her Leadership Journey and the creator of the Inspired Leaders Academy. If you're watching live, give me a hi. Let me know that you're here and that you can hear me and see me okay. Hey, Anusha, welcome. Thanks for being here. So this business, about 6 years ago, I stepped out of my own successful business and I stepped into corporate management and the following years were full of some highs and some lows, shall we say. But the biggest thing was that I kept wondering what was wrong with me. You know, why I was studying all of this leadership stuff. And I was like, why isn't it working? You know, I'm the common denominator, so I must be the issue here. And so, of course, I kept it to myself and I didn't say anything because my ego was really stepping out in front and telling everybody that I can't tell anybody this. I can't admit to someone that I feel like a failure and that I've got stuff wrong and that I'm not making any impact as much as, you know, my heart is telling me that I am. So it took me a long time to actually talk about some of the challenges. And so every time somebody asked, I was like, yeah, sweet, we're all good. Loving it. Yeah, it's awesome. Going really well. And inside I was, you know, paddling really madly, wondering, you know, what was wrong, what was going on here. So then I started talking to some other people about it. I think there was somebody that I trusted and I just mentioned it and they were like, yeah, that's me too. And so the more I spoke about it, the more I realized that actually these things that I was experiencing were across the board and it wasn't just me. And so then I thought, I got really cranky then and I thought, hang on a minute, why is this okay? And we have this level of acceptance inside our workplaces and you know, that's just corporate, that's the way it is. And everybody's leaving corporate to go and start their own business, which I can tell you is not a piece of cake. It's this, you need to be doing that for the right reasons. But we leave because we're stressed, we're burnt out, we're overlooked, we're unheard. There's so much politics that everybody feels like they have to play. And we're constantly being asked to do more with less. And we accept that because we say, well, that's just corporate. Well, that's just what happens. And so I got on my soapbox and I went, no, that's not cool because we swap our lives for this workplace. We don't get that time back. So we can do better and we absolutely should do better. So I went back out into some consulting and formed a company, and then that pretty much lost everything when COVID came to town. And so we redesigned and went online and now have created the Inspired Leaders Academy. And all of you, you wonderful group of women that started off with one person who started, I had an idea, let's create this group and see who else wants this support. And look at us now, we're knocking on the door of 600 women all over Australia and the world inside this group. So thank you for being here. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about courage. So we've got Lisa, hi Jody, hey Lauren. Thanks guys for being here. I want to talk about courage, and courage is one of my core values. And it took me a while to work that out. But I went through the same exercise that I ask everybody inside the Academy to do. There's a few questions you need to answer, a bit of journaling, a bit of writing down, some reflection work that needs to happen. But we come up with some of these. And the three of mine are courage, curiosity, and respect. You know, I'm an incredibly curious person, which is probably what makes me such an effective coach, is because I'm just so curious about why we do what we do. Why would you do that? Why would somebody do that? Rather than asking that, because I did learn to keep that as an inside voice, I started to ponder and reflect, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that might be happening. Well, that's a situation which also allows me then to be able to easily identify and empathize with other people and see the different picture. So I think I've spoken about it recently, the whole concept of yin and yang. A lot of people get different and think it's just, oh, they're just opposites. But what that actually means is that there's inside every good, which is our white side, there's a little bit of bad, which is the black dot. And inside every bad, there's a little bit of good. So what we need to do is choose what we're going to focus on. Do we want to focus on the whole negative situation, or do we really want to hone in on that tiny little bit of positive and see if we can make something happen from that and turn our whole situation, our whole mindset around. So I love that, that concept. And I have been, called Pollyanna and, all this positive thinking because that's what I choose to focus on. I am aware of the situation, and it's not as though I stick my head in the sand, but I actually just choose to focus and finding positive aspects. So when I talk about courage, we have it and it's inside of us, but we don't really know when we've displayed it. So therefore, how can we turn around and celebrate when we do? Because if we don't acknowledge those times where we show courage and stop and celebrate and reflect on that, we won't be able to build it. So many of you come to me and say, I need more confidence. When I get more confidence, I'll just be able to do this. When this happens, I'll get more confidence. When I go and get that piece of paper, I'll have more confidence. When I speak up here, I'll have more confidence. When somebody sees me this way, I'll have more confidence. It doesn't work like that, guys. Nobody's going to give you more confidence. We need courage to step out and do the things that we avoid, that are out of our comfort zone, to speak up when we probably would always stay silent, to speak up against something else, or to speak up for ourselves, to say, no, I am important and I do value me. So sometimes it's not even about speaking it, it's about thinking. And as we know, that's where everything for us starts, right? It's our internal talk. It's the stories we tell ourselves. It's how we see ourselves, which is why I am so adamant for those of you inside the academy, if you've not done your leadership statement, go and do it, because this is who you are. This signifies the impact that you're going to make on the world in front of you right now. Why you wake up every day and your intentions for the people around you, for the workplace that you work in, and for your life in general. But it's great to have that in theory. And once we start on the inside, then we've stepped over that courage to be able to stop and think and recognize that, okay, potentially we've made some mistakes or we haven't been true to ourselves. That's okay. Let's have the courage to own it. And then let's have the courage to step into it and write it down. Okay, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. This is the impact that I want to make on the world, and I'm going to do it. And then you own that as well. That takes courage. That's an internal courage that sometimes you don't want to shout to the world. But when you at least share it with someone else, share it with me, share it inside our group. When you share it with someone, you own it. It's your first step in courage, is an internal courage. But then we look at courage in the workplace, courage in our life. What does that mean? Because there are consequences for when we do that. And so I'd like you to write down some of the answers to these questions here. Let me know what's coming up for you here. You're watching me live. Put some comments in. I love interaction, and I've got your highs. Thank you. Keep going. Let me know if this is resonating, if you've had a aha moment, if you've got a question, if you want to push back on this and go, yeah, but I don't agree with that. Talk to me. Let me know so we can work through it, because this is just completely my opinion, my view, my perspective, the way I view life. And I want to share that with you because I know that it does resonate with some of you. And you're all here in this group for a reason. The messaging that I've put out there, the mission that I told you that I'm all on, you're resonating with that and you want to be a part of that somehow. And if that's being part of this group, then you're a part of it. So let's talk about it a little bit more. Now, courage, what does it mean for you? I want you to write this down. What does courage mean to me? What does it look like? What does it sound like? And what does it feel like? Because our next step is to recognize those times where we've displayed courage and sit and have that and resonate with that. That's what we absolutely need to do. For us to be able to embed what the courage looks like, we need to know when we're ticking boxes and go, yeah, actually, this week I did display courage. And sometimes we assume that it's just speaking up in a meeting, but it can be internal. And I want to share a couple of things with you from Brené Brown, this book, Dare to Lead. Let me know if you have it. I am aware that that's back to front for you. Let me know in the comments if you've got this one. Let me just get rid of that. Courage. Lauren says she likes the idea of courage leading into confidence. Yeah, we can't just click our fingers. Confidence is an outcome of an action that we take. And we have likened, oh, I need confidence to take that step. Actually, we need courage to take that step. That's the only thing we need, courage. We need to be brave. We need to dare to lead, as Brené talks about. You guys haven't seen that before? Oh, okay. Lisa says, courage is being seen as confident and able to take risks. That's in somebody else's eyes. What does it mean to you? And how would you know when you are courageous? Seen as confident. Lisa, I'm going to push you harder. And I know you're laughing right now. So I want to share this with you because she's, Brené talks about courage all the way through the book, because she says that we need to have courage and we need to dare to lead. It's really around this whole piece of courage and being vulnerable. And she talks about a lot of different concepts, but I'm just going to pull out some courage in here. And I want to read this to you because it gives you a different perspective on when we find courage or opportunities to display courage every single day in our lives that we don't even think about. She says here, I want you to think about those moments when something really hard has happened to somebody in our life. So maybe a friend or a colleague, they've got a partner, a parent, or a child who's been hurt or possibly even killed. And we know that we need to make that call to check in and see how we can support them. But rather than doing that, we zigzag. We walk past the phone so many times that we eventually convince ourselves that it's too embarrassingly late to make that call. It starts with, okay, I should call, but they're probably eating dinner. I'll call later. And several hours might go by. You know what? It's bedtime. I'll call tomorrow. And you wake up the next morning. I bet they still have a lot of family over. I'll call in a few days when it's quieter. And what do we feel when we never make that call and we run into that colleague or that friend 2 or 3 weeks later at the grocery store? Most of us feel shame and we feel completely outside our integrity. And she says, on my list of courage behaviors is something my mum taught us growing up. Show up for people in pain and don't look away. Now that's a really big piece in here, but I know that I've done that before because we don't want to intrude. We don't want to, we don't know what to say. All of these types of things come in and we go through this and we have felt this. But guess what? It takes courage to make that call. It takes courage to have that conversation with someone because we don't know what we're going to say. And it might be awkward. That's courage right there. Sending that email when we think, oh no, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe it's going to come out the wrong way. So we don't do it. We stop ourselves. That's courage there. Stepping into that, going, well, you know what? I don't really know what's going to happen here, but I'm going to do it anyway because this is important to me. She also says, she wraps up the book with some courage in here. And I'm just going to read a couple of bits from it. She said, for this whole entire book, she says, if you ask me to boil down everything I've learned from this research, I would tell you these 3 things. I'm going to condense it a little bit because there's a lot in there. The level of collective courage in an organization is the absolute best predictor of that organization's ability to be successful in terms of its culture, to develop its leaders, and to meet its mission. And she says, she goes on to say, courage can be learned if we're willing to put down our armor and pick up the shared language, tools, and skills that we need for being vulnerable, living in our values, building trust, and learning to rise. And then I love this one at the end. She says, we fail the minute we let someone else define success for us. Like many of you, I spent too many years taking on projects and even positions just to prove I could do it. And her final few words in here are choose courage over comfort. And that is a big piece that she goes through the whole book. Choose courage over comfort, because that's what courage is. And that's how we do courage. That's how it shows up in our workplaces. That's how it shows up in our lives, is all of those tiny little awkward moments that we just bypass because it's easier to. That's an opportunity for us to step into our own courage and display that. So I wanted to bring it right back down to those tiny little times where we just dismiss, but they are opportunities to build this courage muscle and to step into that. So Jodie's popped in here that courage is showing up anyway, whatever the situation is. Yep. I have this, you've probably seen it. I've posted it around a bit. Oh, it's backwards. Anyway, it says you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. Ask them for something. Reaching out when there's a story inside your head that tells you, no, don't do that because of. That's a story. Yeah, you get to choose whether you listen to that story or you make a new one. You get encouraged, you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. It's from Oprah. I love that quote. So what I want you to take away from this is to write down, what does it mean to you? Why would you even be courageous? What do you get out of it? And this is for you. This is not what is the external things that happen around you when you do display courage. What do you get out of courage? Because if we take that step and we do something that we know is courageous to us, but the consequence of that goes a bit pear-shaped, that's not what we're looking at. So I don't want you to think about that. Yes, it's part of your risk management process before you take action. But this piece that I'm asking you to do now is courageous, to have a think, to reflect, to write down, what does it mean to me? What does it look like? What does it sound like? How will I know when I'm there? How can I see it displayed in other people? If I'm going to point the finger at someone and go, now that's someone who's courageous, how do you know that? And it's those things when you can write them down and you can make them tangible, that you truly start to understand what courage means for you. And then you're able to step into it and own it and grow with it. Because far often we tell stories of ourselves that are completely incorrect. They're not true, but they hold us back. So our courage is how we step out and do that. So talk to me. Tell me how this is sitting with you. What's going on? Jody says, yeah, you love that quote. It's a great one, isn't it? It's right beside me and I look at it all the time. Right beside the other one that says, show up in every single moment like you're meant to be there. That's my reminder as well for the times where I don't want to show up. I just want to hide. I don't feel well. I've got a big zit on my face. We all have those moments, right? We're like, oh, that reminds me, sits beside me. So I'm glad you love that one. Lauren, I feel courageous when I hold my fears in my hand, close my fingers over them and take that step forward. Yeah, we're choosing courage over comfort. We do stuff that makes us scared as all get out. That's probably when courage comes in. And Jody says butterflies. Yeah, because we're freaking out, right? We're so scared. We're like, oh my God, what happens here? It's like the feel the fear and the do it anyway. You can do all your risk management till the cows come home. You can sit in that space for as long as you want and you can put it off as long as you want, but you won't grow, you won't get anywhere, you won't inspire others, you won't be able to develop your influence or increase confidence unless you start doing. And for us to do the do when we have no idea what's going to happen on the other side, that takes courage. And I applaud anybody who does that. Some people ask me, who inspires you? And I say this every time, it's anybody who has a dream, who has a goal, who has a desire, and they step out and they go for it, regardless of the outcome. If you want something and you're trying to go and get it and do it, absolutely. I admire every single person that does that. It's probably why I cry all the time at the Olympics. Lisa, sometimes think show up needs strength, not courage. Maybe we have to rethink that. Yeah, what does it mean when you put the words on? What does strength mean to you? It could mean something to somebody else. What does courage mean to you? Because it might mean something different to you than someone else, which is why I ask these questions. What does it mean to you? There is no right or wrong. This is your life. This is where you're going, your career. You guys are here because you want to boost that confidence. You want to develop your influence. You want to go and inspire others and make an impact. We can't do that without courage, strength, whatever you want to call it. You need to make sure that it's relevant to you and you use your own words for that. I love it. Oh, the words on the book and the poster are showing the right way around. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. I knew that and I was just testing you. Make sure you're watching. Thanks, Lauren. Main strength, yes. Yeah. So let me know how you go. Write some of this stuff inside the group. So I know you've written it here in your comments, but have a think about it and come back and write a couple of sentences and let us know and inspire some others to start thinking about what courage actually means for them as well. If you want to have a look at some of your strengths, I have offered, you might not have heard, we're doing some leadership audits, which actually goes through our, it's right here, our psychometric profiling tool. But actually, you get this, so you answer some questions, you go through, and then we jump on and have a chat about where your strengths are and what they look like in relation to your goals and where you're going. So this is a report, not all of this one, but you'll get a version of this. And then we have a chat about where that goes, what it looks like, what are the next actions for you to take, and what that courage might look like for you. So if you want one of them, they're completely free for you inside this group. They're normally $97. So if you want one, just type in leadership audit underneath and we'll reach out and organize that one for you, because it is what forms that basis of, you know, where you are now. So you know how I always talk about, well, Alice in Wonderland quote when she gets to the cat and she says, which path should I take? And he's like, where are you going? She says, I don't know. And he says, well, any path will get you there. We need to know where we want to go, but we also need to know where we are right now. And that's what that leadership audit is all about for you. So if you want one of them, pop leadership audit in the comments and we will organize that. But I'd love to hear from you about your courage. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do differently this week, next week, over the weekend? Where are those opportunities for you to step into that courage that you've just written down, or that you're going to write down, about what it looks like for you? Thank you so much for being here. Lisa, love it. Courage was taking the step to join this group. Yes, absolutely is. I acknowledge that 110%, to come in and to commit to working on yourself, to having somebody open you up and go, Lisa, I think you need to change your mindset on that. Lisa, you're an amazing student. I love having you inside our academy. Thank you. But yeah, it does take courage. I am fully aware of that. I do it all the time. I've done so many different courses, different programs, business and leadership stuff, that every single time I do it, I'm like, oh God, this is a journey. It's not just about the money. This is actually a journey that I'm going to go on. It's going to be times where I'm really going to like this person, times where I'm really going to hate this person because they're going to push me. Am I ready for that? Oh God, let's go. Let's do it. So yeah, that's beautiful. That's great. Really understanding, Lisa, what that looks like for you. And I know you've got many opportunities coming up to display your courage as well. So thank you everybody for being here. Love it. Lauren, awesome. We'll get your audit sorted ASAP for you. Hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.